It's the RP Show, and when you're looking for strategic communications with impact, Outlaw Communications delivers, led by Tony Plater. With 35 years of communication and leadership experience, he specializes in media relations training, leadership coaching, and crisis communication strategy. Visit TonyPlater.com. He's the hardest working man in the media relations and crisis management business. Now we got the hardest working man in the National Hockey League. Jersey Jim joining us from the Garden State. How you doing, Jimbo?
I'm doing well, Rod. A big day, a lot of news to get into. A lot of things happening in the New York, New Jersey area. Something about a new coach, I think.
Well, let's start there. You have some delicious NHL juice to get to as well, and it includes the Vancouver Canucks and some of the other teams, the Devils as well. But yes, John Harbaugh is the latest coach of the New York Football Giants. And when you heard that was going down and they agreed to put pen to paper today, what's the first thing you thought?
Giants got the coach that they can have for the next decade there. I mean, no more of this instability at the coaching position. Pat Schumer there, another coordinator here, Brian Daboll there. This is a guy that could be the next Tom Coughlin. Get him in there, 04, keep him there for 10 years, 15 years. John Harbaugh, you need stability at the position, but you also need an adult in the room. Let's be honest, Abdul Carter, his antics during meetings, falling asleep, playing video games, whatever he was doing. You get a hard-nosed coach that says, hey, guess what? When you're 5 minutes early, you're still late. That's the kind of guy John Harbaugh is. You're going to bring in Monken in there with the offense. I like him, but I'll say this. He deviated from his play calling in Georgia with the Dogs that made them so successful, back-to-back national champions. So I want to see him if he can run the ball a little bit more. I know we can pass it and do all that fancy stuff, but I'd love to hire John Harbaugh. This is what the Giants needed. And once he became available, as I've been saying, tweeting, you said it today on the show, all in on John Harbaugh. Don't let him leave the building.
I love what your tweet on that. But is this a concern for yours? And I'd love to hear from the ballers. We got some coaches watching right now. I don't see this as a concern, but what I understand, this was an ownership hire, and the general manager wasn't involved at all. Now, I don't have a problem with that. I'm sure Mr. Shane does, the general manager of the Giants, but that's how some teams roll.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue with it because I think Mara needed to take control of this team. Let's be honest, I think John Mara, you saw what happened with the Hard Knock stuff with Saquon Barkley, the in-season things, and then you saw what happened, again with Barkley and how you kind of let Shane and Daboll kind of run this team and put it in a direction he didn't want. He came out, not this season, after this season, but the previous season said, I want winners. I want this team to win. And he really didn't take charge. Now he's taking charge, taking back control of his football team. I have no issue with this to go around the general manager, that this is an ownership decision. I think John Harbaugh and Joe Shane will work together. This is fine. But sometimes the owner has to step in and hire the coach because maybe the GM's leaning in a different direction and you need to get a guy with a pedigree like John Harbaugh in there. No disrespect to the other coaching candidates that came through, but this is the guy you needed in that room.
Well, and I love that there was no, we're interviewing so-and-so today, like the Browns put out about Mike McDaniel. Like, literally, who cares? Like, go hire somebody. And Coach Matt DeBuck's watching here in Fort Lauderdale, and he says, we lost out in Miami. And the thing on Harbaugh, because everybody was excited. They thought he was coming here. It's like the Leafs. Everybody thinks everybody wants to coach them and play for them. Here in Miami, everybody thinks everybody wants to coach or play for the Dolphins. And I guess that's not the case. The first thing I thought when I saw Harbaugh going to the Giants was, that's the most desirable team, because they are.
Yeah, 100% they are. Even before he got hired, my buddy Teddy and I in a nightcap recap, we were talking about it. He threw me the question, what's the most desirable location, destination to coach? And we kind of went between New York and Atlanta just because of the pieces Atlanta had, because I was a big Atlanta guy this year. You could say the Raiders, but they don't really have a lot. But I was like, no, it's the Giants, Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, Jackson Dart. That's your team. That's what you can do. Get him in there at all costs. And I hate to break it to everybody in South Florida because I love everybody down there. But he was never going to Miami. Like, straight up was never going to Miami. Was never even a chance of that happening.
Well, you don't need to be mean about it. Oh, and by the way, you were just here. We're going to bring up the Winter Classic and how on earth did the Rangers beat the Panthers that night? Because the Rangers haven't won since. But you and I did some fun Miami things when you were here, which was fun. I really enjoy when you come to town. But did you get the sense of the Natty Canes feel when you were here? Tell the viewers what you sensed.
Yeah, I mean, I was feeling it. You know, we watched, obviously, with your neighbor, obviously, shout out Fish for having us over for the one game. Loved it. It was awesome watching Miami. Grew up, the U all day. But again, we were at that Panther game. We were talking with Matthew Kachuk. He's like, yeah, I hope they kind of move that national championship game so everybody can watch it. And they hadn't even played the semifinal game yet. And lo and behold, here they are. They're in the national championship game. They're going to play Indiana. I got a sense down there that they were hyped up for this thing. The U needs another national championship. They want to bring it home, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Indiana is a good team. Don't overlook this squad. Kirk Cignetti, you give him 10 days to prepare. Oh, you saw what happened to Oregon. You've seen what happened to Alabama. If Miami decides not to play the game or does things they did in the Ole Miss game, this could be 28-0 early.
Well, I'll tell you what, from what I've seen, everybody outside South Florida expects Indiana to roll. As a matter of fact, they're 8.5-point favorites. Everybody here obviously expects the Canes to win. Should be if defense wins, Jim, I don't care. If defense wins, then the Canes will win.
Yeah, no, but both teams got good defenses, and I think that's where the game's going to be decided on the line of scrimmage because I believe both teams got good running backs. You got Miami with Fletcher, right? And, Mendoza doesn't make mistakes. Miami's prone to mistakes and prone to penalties, and when they don't play, if they stop playing after the whistle and just go line up, if they take stupid penalties, Mendoza and company are going to, exploit it. But both teams have really good defenses. Cristobal and Cignetti under the Saban tree know how to play defense. I think 8.5 is a lot. I would, if I'm a betting man on this, I'm taking Miami plus 8.5, to be honest, just because I just don't. I think that's way too much. I know Indiana's rolled, but neither team has played a team like this all season.
Remember this, Jersey Jim. I put this in my commentary today. I've asked odds makers how they come up with their lines, and they won't tell me. But Colonel Sanders didn't divulge the 11 herbs and spices either. They just don't do
true.
that.
No.
Right? That's what
they
do.
don't. No, they don't.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
So what's very exciting for me is we switch gears and do a U-turn. They all want to talk about the Buffalo Sabres. Yeah, buddy. Kirk in Toronto writes in. He says, hey, Rod, how about those original Sabres jerseys? They're beautiful. Wayne in BC writes in. He says, yes, I'm excited to hear from Jersey Jim. And Laverne in the Frontier City writes, and he says, be curious to see what Jersey Jim thinks the Sabres need to acquire and cement the team into the playoff team that they want to be with having a chance to make a good run in the playoffs. Okay, the Sabres. Go.
Yeah, Buffalo, look, they got that 10-game winning streak. They had won 13 of 14. Now they've won 14 of 16 games. Had a couple losses in between. They fired Kevin Adams. We had talked about this, I believe, a few weeks ago on a program about coaches being fired. I said, watch an eye on Kevin Adams. They bring in Yarmo. Yarmo's there, knows what this team needs. Here's what I'm interested to watch with the Buffalo Sabres is that Alex Tuck extension. Does that get done? Does he now say, okay, there's a belief here where it's different. We've won 10 straight. We lost. Then we rattled off 3 more. We lost. Then we won again. Is that enough to keep him there? What's the number? It's definitely going to be over 10. We've seen everybody now in that free agent class get over 10. Is that something they want to go to? Do they feel like they need to make hockey trades? Because Jarmo Kekalainen came out and said, if you don't want to be here, if you don't want to put in the work, we're going to trade you. And I think that's what they're going to look at, try to make a hockey trade to get them into the playoffs. Again, still a lot of season left. But I'm starting to believe the Buffalo Sabres might actually end the losing streak of not making the playoffs. I still had them out at the beginning of this year that said 15 straight years, but I'm starting to believe in these Sabres, and I think they'll make a couple of minor tweaks to get them in.
Why would you have them picked to make the playoffs? They haven't since, 2012? It's the longest streak in the National Hockey League. I think it's 2012. But here's the thing about this. I don't mind spending some time on the Sabres here. I told you we were going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, let's pump the brakes. If they just make the playoffs, I think we would all be happy. When we say, what do they – I don't think they need anything. Firing Kevin Adams was akin to lobbing a grenade or shooting a bazooka into the dressing room, clearly, because they've won 14 of 16 since. So the Panthers go in there Monday night. I don't know if you saw any of the game. The rink's full.
I did.
Yeah, last night's game on TNT, they're going nuts. It didn't take much to get the Sabres fans back. And so I've watched now 2 games they've played. Tage Thompson is taking a hit to make the play. Zach Benson is playing like he's 6'8", which he always does. You see what I'm saying here? The guys are committing now. They weren't before. I saw them. You probably saw them come through New Jersey. I saw them come through Sunrise. They were like the Vancouver Canucks. Like, why would I sell out? He's not. Why would I put my butt on the line? He's not. That was what they were missing, and they have it now.
Oh, 100%. And I think they're buying into what Lindy Ruff is selling too, right? Because Lindy was kind of supposed to be like this transitional coach, and he was only signed to 2 years. And now you get the team buying in, and Tage Thompson saying what he said at the beginning of the year, talking about it's not good enough. We got to buy in. We got to play better. We need everybody to do the right things, the little things, the right way. You're seeing Jack Quinn playing better. Your defense is stepping up. Bo Byram's having a great. The only thing is like they had that 3 goalie rotation still going on, so I'm still wondering maybe one of those guys get jettisoned out of there and they just stick with 2 guys. That's just something to watch because everybody in the National Hockey League now needs another goaltender. But it's working for them. They're playing well, and I like the fact that you brought up buy-in because Florida has that, Dallas has that, Vegas has that. The good teams, like we bring it to college football. Kirk Cignetti talks about buying in. Miami, buying in, playing the right way, playing for 60 minutes. That's what Buffalo's doing because they had stretches where they would play okay, take some stretches off. Now, for 60 minutes, they're playing the right way, and they're getting rewarded for it. And let's see if this trend can continue because it's great to see Buffalo hockey back. It's great to see the Sabre fans in the building because if the season continued going the other way, they wouldn't have had sellouts the rest of the year.
No, well, it's a topic for another day, this Kevin Adams thing. From what I understand, he's a great guy. It's a little like Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss. He built the team, and if Ole Miss had kept winning, you would go, who's responsible for that? Kevin Adams built this team that's won 14 of 16. But they didn't start playing this way till they fired him. It's like an absolute Jedi mind screw. But hey, it's not the Sabres show. The Devils, the team that you cover the closest, they are up and down like a toilet seat. Like, who are the real New Jersey Devils?
I think it's somewhere in between. That's where the real New Jersey Devils lie. I think they're not as bad as they were, but I don't know if they're as good as they were at the beginning of the year when they went 13-4-1 because they had a lot of holes. I think they're somewhere in between. I think they're what we saw against Seattle on Wednesday night, a team that's got to grind it out. Another team that has to learn, the top players have to learn. It's a process. You have to buy in. You can't do the things you think you can do. People can tell you no, and there's a certain way of playing hockey no matter how talented you are, that you have to commit to. Nico Hischier showed it yesterday, makes a play getting hit, makes that nice play to win the game in overtime. That's the type of hockey that wins. The Devils, they're dysfunctional right now. We talked about it a lot last season with the Rangers, dysfunctional. A lot of distractions with Dougie Hamilton's name out there, Dawson Mercer's name out there, Simone Nemec, Andre Palat trying to clear cap space, and they want to try to add and make playoffs because they feel like there's still a runway left. However, your hands are kind of tied because the contracts that you gave out, the no move clauses, the no trade clauses are very specific and very limited. They really can't do anything right now, and they're going to need a lot of help because they don't want to retain any money.
Kirk in Toronto writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, "Hey, Rod, Jersey Jim is a gem." Oh, I know. That's why he's on here all the time. Jersey Jim is that from NHLFullPress.com and NHLRumors.com, which, by the way, it's a Substack. Go sign up there for Jim and help him out with because he is the hardest working guy in the NHL. Now, I'm trying to kind of stay away from the Vancouver Canucks whole thing because it's just so toxic. It's like Chernobyl. But you had an article on that. Yeah, talk about what's going. So have they declared a rebuild? Have they declared it's over? What's up?
It's over. It's done. It's the rebuild's on. It's no more of this hybrid rebuild. No more of this. Well, Jim Rutherford has said in the media now 2 to 3 year kind of turn it around. But then he goes and says, well, I'm not sure if I'll be here after this season. Maybe next season will be my last season. Jim Rutherford is the president of hockey operations for the Vancouver Canucks. He was hired after the whole Jim Benning fiasco. Patrick Allvin's the GM. He's used the word rebuild. Now we're taking calls about Elias Pedersen again, who was, again, in trade discussions last year before his no movement clause kicked in. Teddy Bluger's name is out there. Kiefer Sherwood's the hot UFA that they have. Tyler Myers, Connor Garland. It's the same old guys that have been in there's trade rumors for the last 4 years out of Vancouver, and they don't pick a direction. They try to hot shot to try to get back into the playoffs, similar to what the Pittsburgh Steelers have been doing. Let's makeshift it, put it together. Let's see if we can get in. But we don't, and they had a draft guy. That draft guy's in Minnesota, by the way, who drafted Quinn Hughes and all those talented players that they had, and they could have done it the right way. But again, you had a first-round pick last year as part of the JT Miller trade, and you sent it to Pittsburgh to get Marcus Pedersen because you thought you were a playoff team. Demko's still hurt. We don't know what's going on there. Arthur Sivas is out of town. They got to pick the direction. They got to stay with the direction. If there's some suffering, then you have to go through it. But I think the owners finally accepted this team needs a rebuild, and it has to be done the right way. Can't hotshot it. Can't redo it in 2-3 years. They need to break it down, find the backbone, find the guys who want to be there, and then go around it, because it seems like every year they want to change their mix.
True. I don't know why people are sitting there waiting for them to hold a news conference to say they're in a rebuild. The second they traded Quinn Hughes, I would think that would tell you that they're waving the white flag. But I mean, unless you get the number 1 overall pick, which it comes down to a lottery. Brian Burke and Doug McLean have said that. Yeah, Chicago, the fans have accepted they're in a rebuild because they got Connor Bedard. San Jose, same thing. But what happens if you tank and you don't get Gavin McKenna? Are you not in a rebuild? I almost don't like the lottery, Jim, for that reason, but it's to prevent tanking, right? That's the number 1 reason why they put it in.
Yeah, plus the same teams were kind of winning it. The Oilers won it, 4 straight years. They won, getting the first pick overall. That's kind of why they put it in. They want to make sure teams didn't get it all the time. Plus, again, you saw it in 83, I think? 82, 83, somewhere around there, and a little bit before my time. But we saw Pittsburgh tanked to get Mario Lemieux, and then the Devils ended up with Kirk Muller, and you don't want that. But again, if you have the right scouting staff, amateur scouting staff, you can take the other guys like a Verhoff or somebody like that in the draft, and you can say, okay, this guy could be a player for us, but we have to build around him, and we have to get the right pieces in place. And yes, you're going to sell off assets. Sometimes you may win the trade, sometimes you may not win a trade, but you have to do your research on the guys that you're scouting, and just don't give away players for nothing.
A quick one from El Sasco writing in on the Western Dodge text line. Can I break rules and get Jersey Jim's prediction for who will win the Royal Rumble? I will pay the RP show. No wrestling talk. Fine. Signed, Sasco.
Ooh, that's a good question. Rumble. It's coming up. It's Saudi Rumble. I'm going to go Braun Breaker's going to win the Royal Rumble. The son of Rick Steiner. His uncle was Scott Steiner, a couple guys that played, were wrestlers at Michigan. Braun Breaker was a former football player as well. So I'm going with Braun Breaker to win the Rumble.
You guys might as well be talking Mandarin to me. Let's put bets on whoever they will decide is going to win.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
God bless you. Jersey Jim, God bless you. NHLFullPress.com, NHLRumors.com. Keep it real, brother. Keep it up.
Always a pleasure, Rod. Glad to be here. Guys, take care and enjoy.
Everybody, we have a sports update on the way. We have viewer takeover the rest of the way. We have successfully quelled viewer revolt. You're watching the RP Show on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.